when the principals decided to create the residency, they wanted to do something that would be very emblematic of Tom's legacy. And I've known Tom for 30 years, and I think this residency, more than anything else, captures what Tom would think was a cool thing to do. He'd think, yeah, this is a really good thing to do. And as I sort of been watching the students this past week and seeing them start with a problem and not know each other and then get to know each other and then wrestle with the problem, I just thought, you know, Tom would really have enjoyed this whole process.
It was important for us in framing the design challenge to select contemporary issues that are of relevance to Toronto. I think the reality of our world today is that the problems that our cities face are complex and they're not simple, and they straddle policy and they straddle design. So it wasn't enough to just select a physical location and say this is the challenge and this is what you're grappling with. We felt really strongly that it needed to be rooted in the problems that are facing Toronto, which aren't unique to Toronto. Housing affordability is a crisis across our country. So we knew this is something that the students would be talking about anyway, because they're smart people and they're engaged. So we thought that, you know, framing the challenge of what do you do with golf courses in light of all these other issues that the city is facing seemed like the right way to contextualize it for them.
We have, with the residencies from the start, said the topic should be something that captures something in the city that's meaningful within the context of the city that's happening in. So in Edmonton, they went to the planners and politicians of the city and said, well, what's really interesting right now, what's of concern, and they came up with their design residency. We actually reached out to a broad number of stakeholders. We talked to planners at the city, we talked to the United Way, we talked to arts groups, and we just sort of like almost like a Ouija board tried to figure out from all that we were hearing what made sense. And it became clear that one of the biggest challenges in Toronto right now, and if you live in Toronto you know this, is affordable housing. And so that kept coming to the surface every time, affordable housing in all its dimensions. And then the other thing that started to manifest in our discussions with people was the question of affordable housing, but we're starting to see more and more people come as refugees. So it's housing that also understands that there's not just Canadians that need housing or Canadians that have been here for a while, but new Canadians. And then one of the other things that started to come out in our discussions with the city is we face a challenge with climate change. And the challenge is not just pulling back on creating CO2 emissions that cause climate change, but how we're going to deal with the impacts of climate change. There's going to be more storms. There's severe weather events and so forth. And how is that going to be dealt with? So we said, okay, well, those two are sort of disparate. And then something came up almost sort of fortuitously, which was golf courses are starting to wind down because the demographics shifting. The people that were golfing are no longer golfing in a lot of cases. So we started looking at golf courses across the city as a possible site for exploration. There was a golf course that was in the middle of a mixed income housing development in Scarborough on Victoria Park. Okay, affordable housing, we've got an issue with these municipal golf courses, which are sort of random, and we've got this issue of climate refugees. Well, maybe they can somehow be knit together. And this is where the residency idea was born.